Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So going to give you the latest news now in regards to Harry Maguire. Now reportedly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed Ed Woodward to get a deal completed for Harry Maguire, because we do know Harry Maguire is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's #1 defensive target, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on putting Harry Maguire alongside Victor Lindelof in our current back line. So now reportedly we may be forced now to meet Leicester City's £80 million asking price following Eric Bailly's serious injury he had sustained yesterday in our 2-1 victory against Tottenham. Obviously, Eric Bailly had come off with a serious knee injury, so reportedly, Eric Bailly is a big doubt for the new season. So now this could make Manchester United meet Leicester City's £80 million asking price. And with Eric Bailly, I still think he's a very imperative player for Manchester United. I think he has got great potential, and when he's fully fit, he holds his line, he shows that ability and that to play out from the back. But I think, Eric Bailly's Manchester United career has been mainly affected, the amount of injuries he's sustained. Not only that, also with his fallout under managers, obviously he's been at the club now over 3 years as Eric Bailly. I do believe, we paid around £30 million from Villarreal. Obviously, this was under the Jose Mourinho era. I think it was the first player actually, Jose Mourinho bought. In total, he got 11 players in the Jose Mourinho, spent just under £400 million. But I do believe, Eric Bailly was the current first signing. But I do believe anywhere that Ed Woodward has remained in UK anyway, to oversee our transfer business, because obviously he's he wants to currently get some deals and that complete, because he has got quite a few players on his current agenda. But like I said, so far this summer, we have spent what £65 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. If you do want to include the add-ons, it does potentially rise up to around £68 million. And Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far, because they've done really well in pre-season. I do believe that both players will exceed expectation levels at Manchester United, and they will succeed at Manchester United. With Daniel James, I still say is a prospect, and I still say he needs time to develop. And with Wan-Bissaka, he definitely can be our fullback for the next decade. And of course, they're still both very young, and of course, they've got a lot of years ahead of them. But I do believe now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities, will be to recommend an experienced centre half in. He'll also want to add reinforcements in our midfield, and he also, we also are in search for a winner. So regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, we're still orchestrating on getting a couple of new additions in that midfield. But there's just under 2 weeks now remaining in this transfer when we've got to be more competitive in this window, because there's just under 2 weeks remaining now in this current transfer window. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was recently talking about our current recruitment policy. I do believe we will see improvements in the Premier League this season than what we saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. Of course, we didn't win any silverware, and of course we failed to qualify for the Champions League. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the other week was speaking about our ambitions for this season. He believes we'll be aiming for further third and fourth. I don't know if we'll mount any kind of title challenge up. I am sceptical about Manchester United winning the league this season, because analysing it at the moment, City is strides ahead of us. Obviously, Liverpool and that are strides ahead of us. So I do believe in this season in the Premier League, our expectations will be at least to finish in that top 4. But we have got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, because in the last couple of windows, regardless of this one, we wasn't competitive enough. We didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get as #1 targets last summer. So analysing our recruitment policy in the last couple of windows, it's actually been very poor. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does want to recommend young players to come to Manchester United this summer that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars and all that. But we need to see vast improvements going on into this season. I do believe we've been mainly focused on bidding players to Manchester United this summer, which is the right thing to do. But I think we also need to orchestrate on selling players, to help us generate funds and of course rebuild the squad. Solskjaer basically said, we don't need to sell players. He's very adamant we don't need to sell players. He's obviously spoken to the vast majority of our players this summer. He's aware of the speculation, because he says there's been a lot of speculation about players coming in and players going out. But he did basically say we're not intending on overspending on our transfer target. So quite a few people said, look, we should be sensible of our recruitment this summer. But with Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire's transfer saga to Manchester United, does continue to persist, because obviously we've been relentlessly, linked to a move for Harry Maguire. And obviously last summer, was in for Harry Maguire under the Jose Mourinho era, because because actually our priority last summer was to recommend a central defender to come in. But obviously, reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signings that Jose Mourinho, of course, wanted to recommend in to the football club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has obviously identified Harry Maguire as his #1 defensive target, because we've had issues because he's central defender. And, we've had issues defensively for several years now. And last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, and I do believe that was our highest total in like 40 years. So that just indicates out the issues that we've currently got a defence. And I don't think we've had a good defence to rebuild on. Since we had the likes of Vidic, Ferdinand, Gary Neville, and Everett, and they were good defenders under the Alex Ferguson era. So I think we've had issues defensively, over quite some time. But I do believe Harry Maguire, is a better option than what we've currently got in our backline at the moment. But with Victor Lindelof, I think he's a definite long-term solution for Manchester United. He was vast improvements in his second season. The club didn't really do much in his, he struggled in his first season, lacked consistency, but I thought there was vast improvements in his second season. Lindelof's, and I think he's flourishing at Manchester United. And I think Harry Maguire alongside him, he would blend in him alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline fantastically well. But Harry Maguire, as you all know, has confirmed anywhere that he wants to leave Leicester, because the other week he informed Brendan Rodgers. He also informed his Leicester teammates that he does, currently want to leave Leicester. But I do believe, Leicester City's valuation is seen to be the stumbling block, of Harry Maguire, make his proposed move to Manchester United, because obviously for quite some time Man United are basically, not willing to meet what Leicester are currently demanding. Brendan Rodgers himself is aware of the speculation, about, Harry Maguire, and he's basically, aware of Man United and Manchester City's interest. And he's basically said to Harry Maguire he can leave Leicester as long as Manchester United and that are willing to pay what Leicester are currently demanding. But yeah, he's confirmed he wants to leave Leicester to obviously rejuvenate his career and of course take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously Leicester and Brendan Rodgers and that have confirmed that they are under no financial pressure to sell Harry Maguire, because Leicester deep down know how much of an imperative player that Harry Maguire is and all that. So basically they're reluctant to sell him, and this is the main factor reason why they demand an extortionate amount. This is why of course they have priced him out of the transfer market. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to get this deal over the line as soon as possible, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware he will improve his defensively. He's well proven in the Premier League. That's beneficial for Manchester United. His stability is good. He's also very, very good in the air. He shows that ability to power from the back. He's not very fast, Harry Maguire, but that's not a current issue. He's only 26 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. And I do believe Manchester United have been relentlessly linked to him. And obviously we was also tracking when he was a youngster at Sheffield United, because that's where he initially began his career. Harry Maguire at Sheffield United, and I think like I said, Manchester United of course were tracking him then. So we have been long admirers of the player. But like I said, so we may have to pay that £80 million now. Some reports have indicated outside that Leicester value him at around £90 million. I'm very sceptical that Manchester United will pay £90 million, because obviously for that figure, you could probably get, Koulibaly for that, maybe just a bit more than £90 million for Koulibaly. But I think Leicester may accept around £80 million. But going back on Sunday of last weekend it was, Bleacher Report did say, as have been updating on a regular basis, they said Manchester United have agreed a deal with Leicester for Harry Maguire, and he did just say the fee is around £80 million, and obviously that's a world record fee for a defender, because obviously the most expensive defender in world football at the moment is obviously Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for. And you can't put Harry Maguire in, you can't put Harry Maguire in Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level, because obviously Virgil van Dijk is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world, or is the best centre-half in the world, because he has been at Liverpool, since January 2018. But yeah, it did reportedly say we'd agreed an £80 million fee. He said we'd pay £70 million up front with £10 million in add-ons, based on how Harry Maguire, does perform at Manchester United. And he did basically say, classified it as Harry Maguire's transfer from Leicester to Manchester United is very, very imminent. He did reportedly say that Man United have held breakthrough in negotiation with Leicester, but we've been in negotiation with Leicester, for quite some time. Obviously, we've already had a £70 million bid turned down for Harry Maguire, don't forget. But reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it was looking likely he was going to be going to Manchester City, Harry Maguire. Obviously, City were orchestrating on paying him around £280,000 a week. He said City were going to get him for a world record fee of £80 million, and I do believe his actual first choice preference was Manchester City ahead of Manchester United. There was Harry Maguire, but now obviously, it didn't, as you say, City had withdrawn their interest, because obviously, City are not willing to meet what Leicester are demanding, because obviously City have been seeing Harry Maguire as a replacement for Vincent Kompany and all that. So potentially, like I said, he did say it was looking likely he was going to be our third sign this summer. So if he is going to be our third sign this summer, and we do get him for £80 million, that'll take our spending up to around £148 million, because obviously we spent around £65 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. But Harry Maguire will improve us defensively, and I do believe we need at least one central defender. And obviously Harry Maguire's been at Leicester 2 years. You know, he's made, what, 76 appearances in all competitions. I think he scored 3 goals last season. Obviously, the 69 of those appearances out of the 76 has obviously come in the Premier League. He only signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he is under contract with them until 2023. Leicester only really got him from next to nothing. You know, they only paid around £17 million for him from Hull City, so that is a reasonable figure. And yeah, so very, very good player. And I think Mike Phelan has instructed Manchester United to get a deal over the line, because obviously, you know, Mike Phelan managed Harry Maguire, you know, during his short tenure with Hull. And I think Alex Ferguson had his say on it quite a few weeks ago, and he's instructed Manchester United, of course, to get a deal over the line for the current player. But Leicester have said, you know, they want in the excess of £80 million. We said we're not intending on overspending on our transfer tax, but now we're maybe forced to meet this £80 million valuation. Obviously, Leicester themselves are obviously, you know, going to be looking for a replacement for him. Obviously, reports come out of a couple of weeks ago saying that allegedly, you know, they'd reached an agreement with Brighton for Lewis Dunk, and it said they'd agreed around a £45 million fee. But Leicester do know how much of an imperative player, you know, Harry Maguire is. But obviously, Harry Maguire, you know, wants to go to a competitive elite level football club. You know, he wants to be in Champions League football. This is something Manchester United can't offer him, but I don't think that's a stumbling block as long as we're willing to meet, you know, Leicester's his £80 million valuation. I do believe his move to Manchester United, you know, will currently happen. Like I said, we've already had the £70 million bid turned down. Man United and Manchester City have held several talks with Leicester. Harry Maguire said the other week he was infuriated with Leicester, you know, blocking his proposed move to Manchester United or Manchester City. But I do believe we need at least one central defender. But last summer we was willing to, you know, break the bank for the central defender. I think last summer we was willing to pay up to £100 million for a current central defender. You know, because there's been a lot of central defenders on our current agenda. You know, there's still some people talking about Toby Alderweireld, and we do know he would be a much cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. But I think Toby Alderweireld now is actually not expected to stay at Tottenham. Reportedly, his initial release cost around what, £25 million. Obviously, Manchester United were in for him last summer. But Toby Alderweireld, I've got concerns about him. You know, he's Premier League proven, and he's had 4 years in the Premier League with Tottenham, and he has lost that yard of pace a little bit. And plus, he's aging up his Alderweireld. So obviously, Harry Maguire's got a lot more development in him than Alderweireld, because I think Alderweireld is 30 or 31 years of age. Obviously, Koulibaly, I think there was a lot of contradictions about the stories about Koulibaly. Obviously, you know, Koulibaly probably would cost a bit more than Harry Maguire, but I think that the only way we'd get Koulibaly is if we was willing to pay an absolute extortionate amount of money for him, and I just don't think Manchester United will be intending on doing that, because I think Napoli are reluctant anyway to offload Koulibaly. But yeah, he's been relentless since we moved to the club. Obviously, you know, Rafael Varane, obviously, you know, was in for him at one point, but obviously now he's staying at Real Madrid. But we need a world-class central defender, because like I said, we've had issues defensively for quite some time. I do believe about 3 weeks ago as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer asked the British players in our squad about their thoughts about Harry Maguire, because obviously the likes of Rashford and Lingard and, you know, Ashley Young and Jones and Small are going to know a lot about Harry Maguire, because obviously, you know, they're all English, and obviously, of course, Harry Maguire, and of course, is English, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had been giving a positive remark. But Harry Maguire has confirmed, you know, he does want to currently leave Leicester. Brendan Rodgers has had his overarching view on it, and he's basically said if Man United and City want to do the business, you know, they've basically got to hurry up about it, because he initially said the other week that Brendan Rodgers had imposed you know, a deadline on any potential bids for Harry Maguire. But yeah, I'd love him at Manchester United. I think he's regarded as one of the best central defenders in the Premier League, you know, reflecting on his impressive performances in the last couple of seasons. Also done well for England, but he's nowhere near as good as Virgil van Dijk. But yeah, I think he would be the right type of player for Manchester United. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has instructed Ed Woodward, you know, to get this deal over the line. Obviously, you know, following the injury of Eric Bay. But some people have actually said, you know, we need 2 central defenders. But you know, you've got likes of Smalling and Phil Jones. Obviously, they're not good enough now at Manchester United, even though we can still see glimpses of, you know, how good they can be, Smalling and Jones, but I just think, you know, they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. You know, they're aging up as well, and it was bad business for Manchester United, you know, giving them 2 new long-term contracts. But we've got a lot of central defenders looking at it. You know, we've got about 5 or 6. We've got Alex Tuanzebe. With Alex Tuanzebe, I think, you know, pre-season's beneficial for him. With Alex Tuanzebe, I think he did well last season when he was on loan with Aston Villa, so in that aspect, that's give him a bit more experience, Alex Tuanzebe. So we've got him, you know, we've got, like I said, Smalling, Jones, you know, we've got Lindelof, you know, we've got Bay, we've got Rojo, so we've got a lot of central defenders. But I said anyway, we need to sell Rojo. We also need to sell Maguire, and I think we can get around what, 30 or 36 million pounds for their departure, somewhere along that figure anyway. You know, with Rojo, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he sustained, so he's injury prone like Eric Bay. And with Darmy, you know, he hasn't really been given the chance. So yeah, I think we're orchestrating on selling one central defender if Harry Maguire's move to Manchester United, you know, can be fully materialised. But yeah, it's going to cost us in the excess Manchester around £80 million, and obviously this will make him the most expensive defender in the world. Obviously, it won't be our most expensive signing, but it'll be the most expensive defender in the world, because our most expensive signing at the moment, of course, is Paul Pogba, who, of course, were paid £89 million for, back in 2016. But like I said, analysing our current squad as it stands at this present time, it isn't good enough, it isn't competitive enough. And I did say, regardless of what manager we've got, I know we've got Solskjaer and that, but even if we had a manager, to the highest level, they would still struggle, this current Manchester United squad at the moment. But fair play to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he said he isn't frustrated, he's not frustrated with the with this window. He said we've got 2 good players in. He basically said, we need to be currently patient. We've got to hurry up about the business, because there's just under 2 weeks now remaining in this window. But there is growing frustration around Manchester United in terms of our transfer business, because if we don't get all the players that we want, this summer, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the players he wants, you can basically say that the board have let him down, because actually the board did assure that there was going to be a backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that this summer. But like I said, we do basically need to revitalise the squad. And looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. But like I do believe, we need to definitely sell players. Definitely need to sell players to help us generate funds and, of course, rebuild the squad. News about Bruno Fernandes, as I updated you on my last current video. Now, Bruno Fernandes' transfer saga to Manchester United, does continue to persist. I wish this transfer saga had come to a conclusion, if I'm going to be quite honest, because I am becoming infuriated, with the Bruno Fernandes, speculation and all that. Because, I thought we'd have got Bruno Fernandes on the board by now, but we have been negotiating a fee with Sporting Lisbon for quite some time. But potentially, I think Sporting Lisbon's valuation anyway, seems to be the stumbling block of Bruno Fernandes, making his proposed move to Manchester United and all that. It seems to be the stumbling block Sporting Lisbon's valuation, because Man United are not willing to meet what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. Sporting Lisbon have basically said, they want around, the value at around £70 million. Earlier on this week, Federico Verandas, the president of Sporting Lisbon, he came out and he basically said, he told Manchester United, that, he told Manchester United, what fee would basically have to pay to have any chance of signing Bruno Fernandes. So I think we'd have to pay a fee closer to the figure of £60 million. So he even did say that £56 million, probably wouldn't be enough to convince Sporting Lisbon to offload him. So maybe we would have to offer around £60 million to convince Sporting Lisbon to currently offload him. I do believe Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United is definitely still on, as the Sporting Lisbon boss has confirmed, because the Sporting Lisbon boss is he's aware of the speculation about Bruno Fernandes, and he's even hinted out that Bruno Fernandes could leave Sporting Lisbon this summer. He did say that his future is up in the air, but he has said that clubs are keen on signing Bruno Fernandes. But he did admit, the Sporting Lisbon boss, that Sporting Lisbon are going to find it hard to find a replacement for Bruno Fernandes, because deep down Sporting Lisbon do know how much an imperative player he is, because he's exceeded expectation levels in his 2 years in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon, because he can score goals and all that, he can create a chance. And last season Sporting Lisbon, he scored 32 goals in 50 appearances, so he would be the right type of player for Manchester United. But for the entirety of the summer, he's been linked with a move to the club. And also, it did report from Sky Sports yesterday. Sky Sports did actually come out, and they basically said that the majority of the speculation about Bruno Fernandes has actually been stemming from Portugal, his homeland, rather than Manchester. Sky Sports actually indicated out that his move to Manchester United now is currently unlikely. But I think we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes, at least for the last 2 to 3 weeks, according to a bowler, the Portuguese press. I don't know if we've yet made any formal offer in for him. It did say early on this week he was willing to put around the 49 or 50 million pound bid in for him, but obviously anywhere this is going to be too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon. But like I said, I wanted to get this deal over the line, and the situation with Paul Pogba, it's not having any effect on Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United. So Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United is not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. But potentially Bruno Fernandes' agent has been to the UK quite a few times, he's been to the UK quite a few times, to thrash out a deal for his client. So basically Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his client. I still believe Tottenham are in there for Bruno Fernandes. Well, they have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. They're looking to do more transfer activity this summer, because obviously Tottenham have got Tanguy Ndombele, their club record signing, and also they've got Jack Clark from Leeds, but he's been loaned back to Leeds for next season. But Tottenham want to do obviously more transfer activity, so they're still in there for Bruno Fernandes. Tottenham have obviously been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. Also Liverpool have obviously been in there for him. Obviously Liverpool played Sporting Lisbon in a friendly couple of, was it yesterday or the day before, it was 2-2 with Bruno Fernandes. We saw a glimpse of how good he is again. Got a goal and also got an assist. And I think mean, Jurgen Klopp's had his say on the speculation about Bruno Fernandes. He says he hopes Manchester United don't sign him, because obviously Jurgen Klopp's aware that if Bruno Fernandes comes to our club, that Manchester United, that is, he will dramatically improve his and all that. And but like I said, I don't know if we're going to get this deal over the line. If we actually confirm the signing of Milinkovic-Savic, this means Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United probably won't happen, because I do believe now we have prioritised their signing Milinkovic-Savic over Bruno Fernandes, because I think we're growing frustrated over the chase of Bruno Fernandes. But like I said, he's been at Sporting, there's been a couple of seasons, done really well. Obviously, his initial release clause is £88 million, but Man United are not determined to go anywhere near that figure. Last summer, he signed a 5-year deal with Sporting Lisbon, so he is in the contract with them until 2023. Obviously, spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, so he actually grew and developed in Italy and all that. But he's only 24 years of age. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him as Bruno Fernandes. But I think he was recently talking with his representatives anyway about his proposed move to Manchester United and all that. I think it did say if he comes to Manchester United, we're going to give him around 100 grand a week. That's his contract, and that obviously equates to around 5.5 million a year and all that. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United, is still definitely on. But like I said, there's been quite a few midfielders on our current agenda. Since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, obviously, 3 players have departed the club. Obviously, Valencia left the club after he served 10 years there with Manchester United. Obviously, we've got our replacement for him for Wan-Bissaka, and Herrera left on a free transfer, so we need a replacement for him in that midfield. And of course, Fellaini left back in the January transfer window. But yeah, lots of targets on our current agenda, and I think we need to sign at least 1 or 2 more players before this current window does currently shut. Obviously, with Milinkovic-Savic, I've been updating you about Milinkovic-Savic on a regular basis. Obviously, recent reports have been coming out this week. Obviously, this was actually stemming from the Italian outlet La Repubblica, and they basically said that Manchester United are closing on the signing of Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, it did say we're set to get him for around 75 million euros, which equates to around just over 67 million in pounds sterling. Reportedly, there's also add-ons included in the deal, so it probably does potentially rise to around 71 million, because I think it did say there's around 4 points in add-ons included, probably based on how he performs at Manchester United. And reportedly, he has agreed a 5-year deal with Manchester United, so that will take him under contract with the club until 2024. Reportedly, it did say that Milinkovic-Savic's agent had arrived in the UK yesterday, to thrash out a deal for his client to join Manchester United. So basically, his agent has come to the UK to obviously hold talks with Manchester United. But like I said, we have now. We've prioritised him now as well. He's one of our priority targets. Obviously, we are seeing him as a replacement for Paul Pogba. I would be sceptical of Puna of us bringing Milinkovic-Savic in of Paul Pogba as a replacement, because I think collectively we need to bring both of them in. We need to bring Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic-Savic in as Paul Pogba's replacement, because if we sell Paul Pogba, we definitely can generate over £100 million for his departure, and I think with that money we generate from his departure, if he does leave the football club, it still remains uncertain at the moment. We can probably get 2 or maybe even 3 players over that money, because obviously Paul Pogba, you can say he's one of the best midfielders in the world, and you can't put Milinkovic-Savic or even Bruno Fernandes in Paul Pogba's calibre or level. But if we got them 2 in to replace him, I think that would be good business from Manchester United. But it does reportedly say anyway, Milinkovic-Savic has obviously told his Lazio teammates, that he will be leaving Lazio this summer. This is what he's basically said, and I do believe Lazio themselves anyway have agreed to currently sell the player. But he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford as Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, was in for him last summer. I do believe last summer under Jose Mourinho, he instructed scouts to watch the player because he was in for him last summer. But Lazio wanted an extortionate amount last summer. I do believe they wanted over £100 million last summer. Obviously, it's also these stories came out about from Sky Sports, Sky in Italy, the other day, but it was actually reported in Sky Sports. It was the other week, should I say, and they basically said Manchester United had submitted around the £72 million bidding for Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, at that point, it was too insufficient, because initially, the other week, Lazio wanted £90 million, as the Lazio president had confirmed, but now reportedly they've initially lowered their asking price, so they want in the region from between £70 to £80 million do Lazio for Milinkovic-Savic. But Milinkovic-Savic has been at Lazio 4 years. He scored 22 goals in 120 225 games just in the Serie A, but in all competitions he scored 31 goals in 138 games as Milinkovic-Savic, and he signed a new deal with Lazio last October, so he's on the contract with Lazio until 2023. But I do believe Manchester United have progressed in negotiations with Lazio. But he's 24 years of age, is Milinkovic-Savic. He is Serbian. I think he's primarily a central midfielder, so mainly box to box. I think he can actually also operate as an attacking midfielder, and I think analysing him, he's technically a very, very good footballer. You know, he can score goals. I think his work ethic and that's really, really good. And I'm probably, as I'm aware, I think he would improve Manchester United and all that. But I just think, you know, with Paul Pogba leaving and him just coming in as a replacement, I would be actually sceptical. But if we got Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic-Savic, you know, they will collectively, you know, improve our midfield, and I would be very, very confident about that. But yeah, I think we're set to get Milinkovic-Savic in a deal worth around £71 million. But yeah, being at Lazio 4 years, I think reportedly he's been inconsistent in the last 5 or 6 months. Obviously before he was at Lazio, I think he actually, you know, served a season with Genk. But yeah, Manchester United have definitely, you know, been relentless, you know, linked to him. So it did reportedly say, you know, he could be our third signing this summer. But yeah, so with Paul Pogba, obviously, you know, it still remains, you know, his future still remains uncertain. You know, I was reading reports about Paul Pogba the other week, and you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been speaking a lot about Paul Pogba, you know, quite recently. He even did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed he's considering Paul Pogba for the captaincy at Manchester United next season. Obviously, in a bid, you know, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. It also says we're opening contract talks, you know, to try and get Paul Pogba a new contract again to try and convince him to remain at the football club. But obviously, Paul Pogba's obviously been heavily linked to a move to Real Madrid and Juventus. Obviously, his first choice preference has been Real Madrid for quite some time, and his likely destination has been Real Madrid. Obviously, Paul Pogba confirmed, was it over a month ago now, that he's seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United, and at one point he was even willing to go on strike to force a move away from the football club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. Obviously, we're very adamant that Paul Pogba is not for sale. It did say we probably would accept a bid in the region of 150 million. So basically, we've priced him out of the market. I would say in this market this day and age, Paul Pogba is worth between 150 or 160 million pounds, even though he hasn't been the player as we all thought he would have been, and he hasn't lived up to expectation levels, of course, at Manchester United. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, you know, Manchester United can rebuild around Paul Pogba. He's told him he doesn't need to leave the football club, you know, to obviously, you know, he doesn't need to leave the football club, you know, to fulfill his ambitions. And But yeah, so he's obviously our most expensive current signing. Obviously, you know, Juventus have obviously, you know, been in there for him. They've held negotiations with his agent Mini Raiola. More than likely, anyway, Juventus would have to offload a couple of their players, you know, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I just don't think they'd be able to afford him outright. Because Juventus have done good business this summer. You know, they've got De Ligt on the board. They've got Ronaldo last summer. They've got Adrian Rabiot. They've got Aaron Ramsey. So Juventus probably would have to offload a couple of their players. Like I said, you know, with Juventus, I think they're willing to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds. And obviously, you know, with Dybala, you know, there's been talks about him now coming to Manchester United. Tottenham have also been linked to him, and I think Juventus at one point were willing to offer Paul Dybala and that, and I think a couple of other players in their bid of course to sign Paul Pogba, you know, obviously, you know, to try and convince us to lower our current valuation. A couple of reports came out the other week saying that, you know, we'd initially risen our asking price up, and now it says reportedly, you know, it did initially say we wanted around 180 million pounds, so it's obviously, you know, double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. He did have 4 good years in Turin, did Paul Pogba, but he hasn't really replicated this since he did make the return to Manchester United. But if he does leave the football club, I think he'll end up making the move to Real Madrid. Real Madrid themselves so far this summer spent £300 million, something like that, on 5 players. I think Real Madrid themselves are willing to offload a couple of their players to probably help them generate funds to meet her. What? How's it? Have you? Alright. Yeah. To me, sorry about that. To me, our 150 or 160 million pound valuation, I do believe they're willing to offload James Rodriguez. They've also been willing to offload Gareth Bale. Also, Real Madrid did initially say they're desperate to include Gareth Bale in their bid to currently sign Paul Pogba. But like I said, I think Paul Pogba's first choice perhaps is Real Madrid. Obviously, he's been at the club 3 years. Paul Pogba over 3 years now. He's won the Europa League with us and the League Cup. That came his second season with the club. Obviously, you know, Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola came out quite a few weeks back, and you know, he actually said that Paul Pogba is in the process process of leaving Manchester United. But Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left in his contract with an option to extend by a further year. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been in the process of finding him a new club at least for the last 2 to 3 months. So he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Paul Pogba's 26 and he's in his prime and he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. His stats were very impressive last season. He scored 16 goals and 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions, and he's had a great start to pre-season. So I do believe Paul Pogba is the long-term solution. But regardless of what happens with him anyway, we're still orchestrating on bringing a couple of midfielders in. But like I said, the players that have been relentlessly linked to a move away from the club is obviously being Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku. And I said if we sell both of them, we could generate around £150 million for their departure, maybe even more than that. But I think based on the extortionate amounts that we've put on both players, that could be the stumbling block of Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku making their proposed moves away from Manchester United and all that. But I do believe anyway we're moving away from the policy of signing them well-established players. Obviously, we paid a reasonable figure for Daniel James. He was a cheap solution, compared to what we paid the likes of Paul Pogba and Lukaku in recent years. I thought Anwan-Bissaka, we got him for a reasonable figure. I think £50 million is reasonable, for Anwan-Bissaka. But a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the club anyway, over the years since Alex Ferguson retired. We've had different managers with different philosophies. Like I said, a hell of a lot of money's been spent into the football club. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone out. And we just want to bring players in who we think are going to fit the culture of the club and who are going to fit the history of the club. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on doing. So that's the news about Paul Pogba. There's been a lot of midfielders, of course, on our current agenda. I've obviously already given you the latest news, haven't I, about Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. I do believe now I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United are going to get Sean Longstaff in, because obviously Newcastle are demanding an extortionate amount. £50 million is not an extortionate amount if that type of player is worth £50 million, but Sean Longstaff is definitely not worth £50 million. So to me, that's an extortionate amount Newcastle are demanding. We have not yet put a bid in for Sean Longstaff. We've not yet put a bid in for him. I think we are orchestrating on putting around the £30 million bid in for him, but I think we've held high-level talks with Newcastle about Sean Longstaff. But obviously, no official bid has been put in as yet. We only value the player around 18 or 20 million, and Newcastle are demanding more than double that. Steve Bruce, like I said, he's had his say on the speculation about Sean Longstaff, and he's basically dismissed speculation of Sean Longstaff joining Manchester United, because Steve Bruce has obviously just been appointed as Newcastle's new manager following the departure of Rafa Benitez last month, and he's basically spoken, he's basically said that Sean Longstaff's future lies with Newcastle and all that. But I just don't think we will be willing to pay up to £50 million for his services, even though it came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had instructed Manchester United to currently sign Sean Longstaff. Like I said, mainly a box-to-box he's primarily a central midfielder, so mainly a box-to-box midfielder, only 21 years of age. Of course, he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United and that this summer. And like I said, with Sean Longstaff, he's still a prospect. I still say he needs time to develop, and I still say he's inexperienced, because he only made his debut for Newcastle, his senior debut for Newcastle in December of last year, and he did well in the second half of last season. He thrived under Rafa Benitez's guidance. I think he played around 13 games in all competitions. Didn't play the last couple of months of last season due to a knee ligament injury he had currently sustained. But yeah, there's been a lot of talks about currently Sean Longstaff currently going on. There's been a lot of talks about Sean Longstaff, going on and all that. So I'm very, very sceptical, that Manchester United are going to pay £50 million for his services. And what are you doing?
It's fucking red hot.
Is it?
God. Some hair in place, fella. Should have a lot like that, haven't I?
Shut my door.
Are you ringing that?
Yeah, I'm going to do soon. Shut my door.
What's that?
Shut my door.
Oh, fuck shut.
Shut my door.
Oh, it's red hot again.
Is it? Sorry about that, I was just currently talking, but yeah, very sceptical about what? Like what? No. Yeah. But like, have you? Yeah. But like, sorry about that, just getting interfered, just talking to somebody. But yeah, like I said about Sean Longstaff, very sceptical about him, coming to Manchester. So I do apologise for the inconvenience about that. I updated you, didn't I, on my previous video in regards to Nicolas Pepe. Now, Gerard Lopez, the little president, he's given some more additional information. Now, he's basically said, Gerard Lopez, that he has received 4 acceptable bids for Nicolas Pepe. So, potentially, what he's basically said is that Napoli have met, Lille's valuation. He's also said that Arsenal, Liverpool and Inter Milan have also reportedly, willing to meet that figure and all that. So, reportedly, he's confirmed that they have received 4 bids. This is what Gerard Lopez has currently confirmed, the little president. But also the little president came out early on this week and he confirmed that Nicolas Pepe's permanent exit away from Lille is on the verge of completion. But this actually got confirmed around 6 or 7 weeks ago. Carlo Ancelotti, the Napoli manager, confirmed yesterday that Nicolas Pepe's agent was in the Napoli team hotel, discussing a potential move. So actually, it could possibly go to Napoli. But we do know a lot of teams have been in there for him. Reports emerged out early on this week, and it also came out last weekend from Duncan Castles about the stories about Nicolas Pepe, and he basically said that Manchester United moved ahead of Liverpool and Arsenal in the race to sign Nicolas Pepe. He allegedly said we'd progressed in talks with Lille about the transfer of Nicolas Pepe. We was orchestrating on putting around £70 million bidding for him, because obviously Lille do want around 70 or is it £71 million for his services, and looking at it, he's the obvious candidate for the right win for Manchester United. I'm very, very sceptical about Nicolas Pepe coming to Manchester United anyway. I don't think it's currently not going to happen, and I would be excited about the prospect of linking Nicolas Pepe up with the likes of Mason Greenwood, Rashford and Martial and that in our attacking line, because we do need a bit of more experience in our attacking line, because we got Mason Greenwood, he's the upcoming future, but he's obviously being assured more playing time going on into this season. He started pre-season well. We've obviously got Chong, he's still inexperienced at the moment, but he's done really, really well in pre-season. You've got Rashford and Martial, they're still both very, very young. So Nicolas Pepe, would be the right solution for Manchester United, because like I said, he's primarily a winner. But a lot of teams have been in for him. Arsenal have been in for him since January. Liverpool have been in for him for months. Inter Milan are in for him. I think also Atletico Madrid have been in for him. PSG at one point, Bayern Munich and that were in for him. It all said that Everton were in for him early on this week, but he won't go to Everton because obviously Everton can't offer him any European football. But I do like him a lot because he can score goals, he can create chances, he can provide assists, he's good in the air, he's good on and off the ball, his tenacity is good. So I'd love him at Manchester United. And look at him, he's only 24 years of age, but so far he has spent the entirety of his career in France. He's been at Lille a couple of seasons. I do believe Lille got him from Angers back in 2017. For Lille, he was the revelation for Lille last season. He scored 22 goals and provided 11 assists, and in all competitions for Lille he scored 37 goals in 79 appearances, and he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Lille. So it's very imminent he's going to be leaving Lille, but it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade this season. So I'd say he's out. Nicolas Pepe's out of the equation of him coming to Manchester United. I don't think he'll come in. He was quite offering many European football, and I think Champions League football is always very pivotal. When you do want to get a player of his calibre and level, and yes, I don't see him coming to Manchester United. But I think any team that Nicolas Pepe goes to, I think he'll fit their system currently perfectly. But Gerard Lopez, the president of Lille, he said 4 bids. He has received 4 bids for Nicolas Pepe, and he said that obviously they are acceptable bids, because obviously Arsenal, Liverpool, Inter Milan, and Napoli are obviously willing to meet what Lille's asking price. So it's reportedly said they've agreed a deal in principle, Arsenal, Liverpool, and all that. But well, definitely.
Them two.
What are you doing?
I think you have to go online for it. That's the thing you got.
Yeah. Dad, you're doing me head in. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to.
Alright.
And that's to update your thing.
Yeah, alright.
It tells you what to do. Go online or something.
Yeah.
You posted it on 11th of July.
Yeah.
Completed, so I don't know what they're on about.
Oh, look at this. Work there, sorry. And yes, so sorry about that again. And yes, so Nicolas Pepe, I don't think he'll come to Manchester United if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And yeah, so that's mainly everything to do. Even like I said, Manchester United have had a fantastic start to pre-season. 4 wins out of 4. 9 goals scored, only 1 goal conceded. And yeah, so what a fantastic start we've had to pre-season. There's only 2 games now in pre-season remaining. We go to Kristiansund on the 30th of July. I do believe Kristiansund is in Norway, where initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's from. And obviously the last game of pre-season's AC Milan in Cardiff. So we've only got 2 games now remaining in pre-season. I'm very, very confident, you know, that we can win them games, so we can make it 6 wins out of 6 in pre-season. And I think, you know, I like pre-season because it's, you know, I think it's meaningless, but I think it's good for the upcoming players because it gives them a bit more experience and that I'm under their belt. But I do believe the majority of the young players have done really well so far in pre-season. But the main part of this video, you know, was to give you an update about Harry Maguire. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed Ed Woodward to get a transfer completed, you know, for Harry Maguire, because obviously, you know, I think we could now be forced to meet what Leicester are demanding, you know, following the injury of Eric Bailly. Like I said, he's sustained a serious knee injury and he's a big doubter for the new season. So now this is why, you know, now Solskjaer, you know, wants to get the deal over the line for Harry Maguire as soon as possible. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.